Hello, Rebel. Welcome to the Week 9 recap of REL Division 8. My name is Big Chuck. I'm a coach in the division here. I'm coach of the Pananimals team, a Dark Elf team. This is my third season playing in the Rebel. I started off a couple seasons ago playing Necro in the Rookie League. Then decided that I didn't really like the Necro team, re-rolled into Greenhorn last season, and have been getting a lot of stat ups on Dark Elves ever since then. But we'll get to that a little bit more later. I'm relatively new to Blood Bowl. I've only been playing for about a year and a half. I've been relatively successful at it, but and I'm really having a good time learning the game and just trying to get better and play some good, fun Blood Bowl. So I think we'll start off by just taking a quick rundown of the leaderboard and see where we're at this point. So right now we've got Hyup Hyup or Scambammer, depending on what you know him as. He is our halfling coach in the league. Then we've and he's in a lot of rebuild mode there. He's got a lot of development he needs to do. I have talked to him. He said he is going to completely rebuild that team and stick with it. Then we've got Zim with his Wood Elves, Count on Us, the Vampire team, the Night Haunt as the Undead team, the Chaos Dwarves, who I expected to have. This is a scary team and a really good coach. I'm not sure what's happened this season, but he must just be catching a little bit of the dices there. We've also got Dwigs here with the Rock'em Sock'ems in 9th place. And everything's really close in here, where you've got, going from here up, it's just a couple of wins separate from the top. So we've got Orc-Exploitation Cinema, our Orc team, and with a 3-2-3 record. We've got the Battle Brothers with a 4-1-3 record. We've got a Norse team here, Oathblow, with a 3-4-1 record. We've got Shazelbob's Broken Boys with a 4-2-3, and the records start getting really, really close here, as you'll see. The Nurgle team, Steak Mittens, Gotta Catch 'Em All, 4-2-2. My team, the Pananimals, 4-2-2 as well. So we've got a tie for third place here, and a tie for first place between Shadora's Streak Sharks with a 5-2-1 record and the One Cheese, coached by Rex Longbow, with the same 5-2-1 record. So that said, I'm going to jump right into the team coverage and just go down the list in the order that they're displayed, and kind of give a review of all the teams, since we haven't had a lot of coverage of the team so far. Just would like to go through and basically touch on every team and just kind of go into some in-depth on all of them. So, starting here with Oathblow, coached by Crown Jelly. We've got a Yeti who was very fortunate to pick up block on his first roll. That's a great start for a Yeti. He will quickly pick up Mighty Blow, and this guy will become a beast. He only needs one more cast to pick that up, so he is just a hair away from being that Claw Mighty Blow killer that everyone fears. Looking down, we do have a Strength Up lineman. That's always a piece you want to see on Norse. Getting a little bit more strength is great. The one thing I do see here, it looks like, unfortunately, he's down an Ulf at this point in the season. So he really does need that strength to cover that until he's able to hire a new Ulf. How much do those Ulfs cost by default? I guess this one, so it's 110, so he could buy the Ulf right now, but then be dead broke. Let's see. Everyone else looks like, for the most part, we do have a nice Blodge Berserker with Guard and Mighty Blow. That's a really cool piece. Lots of tackle. which makes a lot of sense in this league. As we get through, you'll see a lot of dodge in the league, so seeing all the tackle makes a lot of sense. I would like to see some more guard picked up on some pieces, which I'm sure he would too, because Norse really does need that guard. But a really strong start to development for this team. Everything is looking good. 3 rerolls, got the Apo, got everything else going on. It's a nice looking team. Let's see, how have we played so far? Looks like we've picked up several draws, and these are all tough matches that we're picking up draws in. So like drawing against the Street Sharks, I gotta hand it to him there. That's an accomplishment in itself. Drawing to the One Cheese, well done. I expect to see good things out of that Norse team coming forward. Now we'll take a look at Stegman's team. Gotta catch them all. Very good, clever name, trying to catch the Pokemon Rotters. So here we've got Ivysaur, good name. No development yet for him. No stat ups on the team at all. So we do have a very good killer Nurgle warrior who's picked up the Mighty Blow Claw package. We have a Nurgle warrior who has rolled doubles and picked up the Blodge package. A couple of guard. We've got a good dirty player here that can do all the dirty work for the team. Pestigore, he has an injury. Is he a niggled Pestigore? He is a niggled Pestigore, but he has Tackle Mighty Blow, which are very useful in several matchups, so got to keep that around. Looks like he's got 2 tackles. We've got a good sacking Pestigore with dodge, wrestle, and tackle. So he should be able to do some work there. 1660 team value. Rerolls, and we know right now tied for third that Steak Mittens is putting up a very strong season so far. I know during our game he just beat the snot out of me. Couldn't keep a player on the pitch, which, hey, that's what Nurgle's trying to do. So very well done. Scary team to play against anytime you come up against a Nurgle with a good killer. Next up, we have is it Gigolo House? Gigolo House? I'm not sure quite how to say that. Coached by Zim. Oh, I'm going to go back real quick and take a look because I forgot to look at stadiums to see if we have any stadium enhancements on anyone. So, it has not upgraded the stadium yet, and Steak Mittens has not upgraded the stadium yet. And just curious. -1 on. So we do have in the Gigolo House we've got the Astro. This is Elf Turf. -1. I was thinking it was Astro. Yes, Elf Turf makes sense. So soft landings for those go for it's. So on this team, what have we got? We've got a movement up tree. That is exactly what you want to see on a tree. He's also rolled doubles and picked up block. He's got that grab skill to help with the one turning. That tree is a fantastic tree. The other standout player here is Moonshine. Anytime you get Agi 4 on an elf, I don't care if it's a lineman or Agi 5 on an elf, I don't care what piece it is, what position it is, that's going to be a fantastic piece. I expect him to pick up probably block on his next level, followed by well, actually, no, he hasn't picked up block, so it could be a wrestle piece. So this could be, he could build this into a sacker, go like wrestle, strip ball, leap, and have it be his third war dancer, if you will. Both the War Dancers already have tackle, strip ball, and block. Yeah, and you don't really want to take wrestle on a War Dancer. I don't. You can. It's definitely an option, but you don't want to take wrestle on a War Dancer because they've already got block, and it's kind of not the most synergy in the world. So, getting I would really love to see Moonshine go the wrestle route. That keeps him alive longer because he's not taking any armor rolls on those block results. And it can turn him into just a ridiculous sacker. We also already have a guard War Dancer, so he has the potential to, if there's not a guard on opposing corners of that cage, he can jump in there, set his guard up on the ball, and then leap in and wrestle that down. So that's a really excellent threat to be able to essentially pop the ball anytime you want to. So this team can develop into a really scary team with that piece and a couple of healthy War Dancers. Overall, pretty healthy for a Wood Elf team. A lot of times you see Wood Elf teams at this point in the season that are down to, a handful of players. There's 5 or 6 players, no bench. Right now we are on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, a full 11 players. So no bench at this point, but a full roster. He can pick up just 1 or 2 more players and have that much desired elf bench, so that whenever a couple of pieces get knocked out, you're still on 11 for the next kickoff. And with armor 7 down the board, you have to expect that a couple of your guys are going to get knocked out pretty much every game. Throwers coming along nicely. You don't have to worry too much about the movement down on the thrower. Lineman with kick, also movement down, not a big deal. So no significant injuries. I wouldn't worry about cycling anything here. Is in a great place with money, has 130k in the bank, so if something does go horribly wrong, he'll be able to replace and repair and rebuild. I think this team is in an excellent position to just continue building and be in a great position next season. Now we've got the Vampire team, Count on Us, that has one of the greatest naming schemes that I've seen. Let's take a look first. Does he have no stadium enhancement? Let's look at the roster here. Count Subtraction is an absolute beast. Strength up, making him a Strength 5 consistent piece. Movement 7, he can go wherever he wants, hits whatever he wants. Blodge down the board on all the vampires. Oh, nope. My mistake. On 3 of the 4 vampires, we've got Blodge. The Mighty Blow Vampire has not been able to pick that up yet. Mighty Blow Vampire is movement busted, but 5 movement is still plenty, especially when this is your. Well, actually, I started to say this is the one he's wanting to make all his hits with, but he can really hit with almost any of his vampires. So he has built all 3 as just solid pieces. They're all blodge pieces. They're all we're picking up a lot of Mighty Blow, so this is looking to be somewhat of a bashy team, I would say. Then the really interesting thing, this is I think one of the cooler pieces of this team, we have 2 Agi 4 Thralls. The Agi 4 Thralls are great. This means they're able to easily pick up the ball, dodge away, support those vampires. The 8 here is developing into a quarterback, so he's got sure hands and pass, and Agi 4, he's able to always pick up the ball. Then he can chuck it downfield to one of these Agi 4 vampires that no one wants to base up against. So I think he's got a good, solid passing game. The 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've only got 1 bench at the moment. Once 1 times 2 equals 2 comes back, we will have a little bit deeper bench. So I would like to see a little bit of this bank here spent on a couple of extra thralls. Need to pick up number 1 again. I'm not sure what number 1 is on, and number 9, extra thralls are an absolute necessity for a vampire team, because you're going to at some point bite a thrall, have some bad leads. They're armor 7. Your opponent's going to pick a couple off. So having that deep bench just to be able to have them out there to support whenever you do roll that bloodlust and don't want to use one of your very precious rerolls on it. The team is carrying 4 rerolls, which I think is a good number. Would love to see a leader thrall develop at some point, but I think that is a double for thralls, so that's not the easiest thing to pick up. Is that a double? If that's a double, this guy has rolled a double and agility, which is a great piece. So again, all stars, count subtraction 8 and 5 doing excellent work for this team. I expect to see 5 develop probably into something like an Agi 4 Blodger, so he can just, and maybe guard after that if he's able to pick that up, so he can just move around and just be an excellent support piece. Screen for this quarterback here while the vampires go out, roam around, do their thing, and then he passes for the score. Really neat team. I like it. And now we're moving on to the Night Haunt by Sinister. We have a Squig sandwich kiosk, so throw a rock and get the ref are canceled. I think this is primarily about throw a rock, because no one likes that. Get the ref, everyone loves bribes. Especially, hey, undead teams love bribes, but the throw a rock can be super frustrating, so I understand why you would go to cancel that. Taking a look at the roster, what have we got here? Well, we've got a couple of mummies. Both have picked up guard and break tackle, and one has picked up grab. That is, I think, pretty straightforward development for mummies who haven't rolled doubles to pick up that all-important block. So very solid. Has managed to get a lot of points on those guys, so kudos to that. That's hard to do, to get your mummies that developed. We've got a white who has picked up the full white killer package. He is a tackle, mighty blow, piling on, guard, and pro. That is a awesome white. It looks like we've had to rehire the other white here, and he's working his way back up towards some skills. We've got an excellent ball carrying ghoul with sure feet, sidestep, sure hands, and block dodge. So excellent little blodger. Has rerolls for picking up the ball, has rerolls for any go for it's that he has to make. What would we want to see next on this guy? Either fend, or if he's really just going all in on the movement, then he could also pick up sprint. But I think I'd like to see fend first, because once you have that blodge stepper, fend is a great pickup for your ball carrier. We have a wrestle strip ball ghoul. Love that. That's awesome. Freshly hired ghoul. Number 4 ghoul is missing at the moment, so that will probably get picked up sometime soon. 100k, I can understand waiting a little bit to fill out that fourth ghoul, especially because you've already got a fully you've got the numbers that you need. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players. Great number of players. Dirty players, so he's got a full roster at the moment. I would like to see whenever maybe a zombie goes down or something, that 4th ghoul picked up, because those are great. But you also probably want to get a little development on Dirt Robber before you pick up that ghoul, which he is very close to getting some development. So I expect to see that 4th ghoul coming soon. We have a guard piece on Morbidicus here, and that is great for a zombie. He's got blocking guard, so on the line we probably throw up a block piece and a couple of unskilled pieces. You've got some guard you can position. You've got a dirty player to foul until you get caught. Kick is great for these teams, because you're often able to take advantage of that with your speedy set of ghouls and get out there and either steal a ball or create that race situation where you kick the ball deep and then throw a couple of ghouls around the screen and race towards the ball against slower teams anyways. So very solidly developed team here. Looks like he's gotten a little bit unlucky on his development rolls, has not picked up a lot of doubles, or I think it's just the one, because I believe this guard is doubles. I don't think there's any other doubles on the team. But other than that, solid development, looking good. Nice undead team. Shadora's very frightening street sharks. Let's take a look at what we've got here. We have no enhancement, but is the level 2, so we're looking towards getting an enhancement pretty soon here, probably as soon as that bank creeps up a little bit. This roster is pretty frightening. All of the Saurus have picked up block. We've got a strength up Saurus with break, tackle, tackle, mighty blow. So this is his killer Saurus, Dr. Robert. I think everyone knows Dr. Robert. And if you haven't been introduced to Dr. Robert, as soon as you play Shadora, you will get to know him very quickly. Big Slamu, Blodge, and Guard. This is a sweet piece. I want to see this guy get stand firm, and then that just becomes a nightmare to deal with. Blodge on a strength 4 piece and guard, and he's standing firm, so you have to roll pals against that guy to get him out of there, and he's hard to get a good block on. So that's really when Saurus start getting scary, when you can't do much about this wall of strength that they're able to throw out there. Croxagor's picked up guard. Awesome. Frenzy tackle piece. I love Frenzy on a Saurus. That's just being able to move towards the sideline a little bit and present that threat of, hey, if you get too close, I'm going to push you out of here. So that Frenzy on a Saurus is really great. Plenty of guard to be able to support it. Got the stand firm to be able to support it, so you can set up some really great surf plays. Has rolled doubles on 2 of his skinks, and Rox is the best skink. He has that agility going for him. He's got Blodge, he's got the sprint, sure feet, and sidestep. He is a nightmare to play against because he's got agility 4. That means it's 2+ to dodge anywhere. Doesn't care how many tackle zones there are in play. He's just going wherever he wants to go. He's got the movement to move that full 12 spaces, basically 8, 9, 10, 11, or excuse me, 11 spaces. He just needs 2 pushes to 1 turn. Can run in, steal the ball, do basically whatever he wants. When we look at this guy, he has inflicted 7 injuries. What is this skink doing? That's insane. I was looking for the touchdowns. He scored 30 touchdowns. Basically, this guy scores whenever he gets the ball. We also have a couple of diving tackle, one with block, a couple of undeveloped skinks, just because you have to have skinks on the bench. You're going to lose 1 or 2 throughout the course of a match, so you got to have those replacements to come in there, because if you run out of skinks, you run out of the ability to do anything with the ball, basically. But no, excellent looking team here. Has been having a great season so far. Expect to just continue to see great things out of the Street Sharks. House Dwarfs Homewreckers, Randomus Namus. We have a Magic Dome, no weather, whenever you're playing against the Homewreckers here. And taking a look at the team, we do have an MNG blocker at the moment, but he'll be back very quickly. So we kind of have the standard dwarf build here, right? We've got guard, 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 guard. A couple of claw mighty blows, 3 claw mighty blows once this guy's back. The bull centaurs, we've got the ball carrying bull centaur who picked up sure hands, blodge, and break tackle, so he's very hard to pin down. And then we've got the jump up mighty blow blitzing bull centaur, I would say. Jump up on the double. That means I assume that we're going to see a piling on take at some point on this piece. A couple of hobgoblins who've picked up guard and a dirty player guard. The dirty player guard's a little bit funny. I think you took dirty player, great choice, and then you roll the doubles on at the next level. You don't want that kind of makes you not want to foul on it whenever he's a guard piece too. But I guess you do what you got to do. So that is pretty cool there. Blockers all looking good. Only have one that looks like I assume we had to replace at some point. We've got the Apo, we've got the team rerolls. Looking at the history here, looks like, well, we'll get to last week's matches in a little bit, but it looks like, yeah, all of these games have been very close games. It's just a matter of inches. When we played, we tied. He was able to hold me to 1-1. Looks like against Nurgle, they were both able to score. I mean, these are very tight games, so this record could be, it's just very close. All those games are very tight. Battle Brothers, Caloric. I hope I'm saying everyone's name right. If I'm not, I apologize. So, taking a look here, we have our Bretonnians, correct? Yeah. And all of the development is stacked up here on the Blitzers, which you kind of expect because the Blitzers are the pieces on this team that do all the work. We have a couple of Agi-up Blitzers, which are both fantastic. One with Nerves of Steel, so this guy can catch the ball anywhere. So he has picked up, I believe all of those are inherent, so I think it's Dodge, Tackle, Agility up, and then Nerves of Steel. So this guy can catch the ball anywhere on a 2-up and has catch that is inbuilt. So easy receiver at any given time. We have a Leader Blitzer picking up that efficient reroll. I think that's Leader, right? Yep, Leader. And we have something, I guess, of a quarterback blitzer, maybe? He's got the sure hands blodge step, so it looks like he's kind of intended to be the ball carrier up until the point that we throw a pass over to the Wandering Crusader over here. And then we've got our Agi-up Mighty Blow blitzer. So I expect this guy to be dodging in and making hits. So this is our actual blitzing piece. So we've got a ball carrier, a receiver. I would say a ball carrier / quarterback, a receiver, and a player who's going out there making the punches. We've got our leader for our efficient reroll. Only carrying 2 rerolls on the team, so this is a very efficient use. Gets up to 3 rerolls, which is I think where most normal teams want to be, is at about the 3 reroll mark, but gets there for an efficient amount of TV. We've got some wrestling blockers with guard and dodge. It looks like this guy is getting beat up, but with wrestle dodge, the AV7 is not that big of a concern. Guard, that's development you need to be able to hold those lines in some pieces. I believe that Bretonnians, I'm not a Bretonnian expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I believe they're playing kind of that hybrid style. They're not really elves, and they're not really a bash team, but they do need to get in there and make their hits, so you do need a certain amount of guard just to be able to hold that fort. So I completely understand the movement bust not being that important, and the AV bust with wrestle dodge not being that important either, in comparison to just having that guard out there. We have no development whatsoever on the peasants, but at 40k that's okay, because these guys can just be going in and stepping on heads. It would probably be really nice if one of these, looks like they've soaked up a lot of MVPs this season. It'd be nice if one of these could get one more SPP, pick up that dirty player, and really go to work stepping on people. That dirty player really helps you step up that bashing and get in there and take out some of that player advantage, get a player advantage of your own, and then you're where you want to be. So yeah, good looking team here as well. 15-20, solid team value, very efficient with the rerolls. No enhancements yet. That is our Bretonian team. And now we've got Orcsploitation Cinema. I like this naming scheme. I like the punny naming schemes. So take a quick look. Does he have an enhancement? We do have a security gate, so no riots and no pitch invasions. I think the key here is getting rid of that riot, because when you're trying to stop someone from one turning, the one thing you don't want to see is them turn it into a two-turner. So this is our orc team, who has managed to roll some amazing stat ups. Jumping straight to, I think, the scariest player, Leorc Neeson. Our play on Liam Neeson has rolled strength, and then break tackle. So this guy can go wherever he wants to go. It looks like he has picked up a niggling injury, but you don't get rid of a strength up piece over one little niggling injury. He can go wherever he wants, make whatever punch he wants, dive right into a cage and get 2 dice, easy. So that is a scary piece to see whenever you're coming up against these orcs. Got a couple of Blodge Guard blitzers, one with Stand Firm and an Agility Bus. Agility Bus is not too big of a deal. You're not looking for this guy to carry the ball that often anyways. We've got plenty of other players to do that work. We have a Dirty Player Sneaky Get lineman, which I love, and another Dirty Player lineman. So just based on that, you can tell that this team loves to foul. And they're orcs. They should. These are efficient players to foul with. And then, I guess lastly here, and probably should have been higher in the coverage order to be honest, is Demi Mork, who is his thrower, who has managed to pick up an agility up. And we've got kickoff return, sure hands, block, pass. So we've got a very efficient quarterback here. Can go over there, pick up the ball, make throws easy. Has kickoff returns. On the slower orc pieces, kickoff return is an amazing skill. With only 5 movement, they're oftentimes not able to get to the ball on a kickoff, but now with kickoff return, that extra, they're effectively movement 8 for that. Yeah, it is +3. Yeah, they're effectively movement 8 for that initial, which means they can get to the ball no matter where you kick it. And then with that +2 agility, going to be able to throw it downfield and basically do whatever they would like. So what's our player count look like here? We've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players. I would like to see another line orc or two, just because we've got these dirty players that we want to make efficient use of, and in order to make the best use of those dirty players, you do need a little bit of a bench. At 1770 TV, probably not very often, other than whenever he's playing against Shadora, probably not very often picking up enough petty cash to get a bribe. So it might be a good time to invest in a lineman or two. But other than that, we've got some good stat ups, some good development. This is a really cool team. Oh, great killer, by the way, with the Frenzy Tackle, Mighty Blow Piling On Blitzer. Would also like to see a little bit more development on the Black Orcs, but that is tough, and I'm not sure if we've had... these are looking pretty fresh, so I'm actually going to assume that at some point during the season we've lost a couple of Black Orcs. I would have to go back and do some research to find out what happened there. Because it's very odd to see such hugely developed Black Orcs here and a couple of very rookie Black Orcs. So my assumption is we've lost a couple. But good looking team, developing well. Now we will take a look at my team, the Pananimals. So I won't spend too long reviewing my own team here, but This is kind of an odd Dark Elf team. I have managed to roll a lot of movement ups, so I am actually like a really fast Dark Elf team, and usually Dark Elves are the slow elves, more or less. So I have chosen to pick up a new runner recently, Pandemonium, with his I decided to go for a runner over just another lineman, mainly just because of the movement 7 and the fact that I have all of these other players who are movement 7, movement 9, movement 8, movement 7. Like, these movement 6 players are slowing me down. So I picked up a runner to try and fill in that slot. Essentially what I've got here is a Dark Elf team that has a Blodge Gutter runner with some armor ups and a strength up, and a War Dancer with an Agi up. So, like, an Agi up, War Dancer, and a Gutter runner are really good pieces. The Witch Elves are coming along in their development. I've got one that I'm developing as a sacker. I've got another that I am developing more as just either a blitzer. I'm really not sure what Totally Awesome's role is going to be yet. She's picked up block, probably a surfer, so I'm thinking next is I would like to see a Juggernaut if I'm able to pick that up. Do need the doubles for that, but that's really would be, in an ideal world, the next level would be Juggernaut. But we'll see what happens for Totally Awesome here. Perhaps Leap next if I don't get Juggernaut, just to go, because I think that's ideally I'd like to have a Leap Juggernaut piece that I can just move into position wherever I want it. The big gap in my team, to be frank, is I have no guard, none. I've picked up a couple of guards at different points, and every time I pick up a guard, they die immediately. I would really love to have Hawkward or the Humanity pick up guard at some point, but I've got to roll doubles, and I can't roll doubles unless it's a stat, has been the name of the game this season. I do have 3 rerolls, looking good there. On the club side, I've picked up a stadium, have not built my enhancement yet because I keep replacing elves. We keep having guys die, but other than that, development's coming along nicely. So now let's take a look at One Cheese, Rex Longbone. This team has been tearing up the league. He has the full kit of Killer, except for, full kit of Killer on Ratona Zoro. So he's got the block, piling on, Mighty Blow, Claw, Tackle, everything you want to just beat up someone. He's probably hoping he rolls some doubles to pick up some jump up on this piece, and other than that, like, he's pretty much good to go. Like, he doesn't need anything else. Mousy D. Luffy, the other Storm Vermin, has picked up guard, and unfortunately a niggling injury, but this is a really good complement to the Killer Blitzer. He can move in, provide that support, provide that guard to get those hits in that he needs. Gutter Runner development, he has picked up a movement up Gutter, so this piece just needs sprint to be a natural one-turner, so I kind of expect that to be the next level. He has the super annoying Blodge Step Diving Tackle Gutter Runner, so if he's able to stick this piece anywhere near your ball carrier, good luck getting rid of it and good luck dodging away, because he is really not going to let you do anything that you want to do. We've got another Gutter Runner who has developed as a sacker. He has got the Strip Ball, he's got the Wrestle, and he's got the Dauntless. So this is also a really good piece. I'm not sure how Dauntless works with horns. Someone can probably chime in and school me on that. I'm not sure if that works to get you 2 dice or not. I don't think it does, because I think the +1 from horns comes before Dauntless roll. So I think it just makes the Dauntless roll easier if you're really hitting uphill. But other than that, that's still a nice get on a Gutter Runner. Can dodge in there, make those hits, and and take that ball away. And everyone knows once you have the ball on the ground to Skaven, it's only a matter of time before someone like this movement 10 guy scoops up the ball and is just way gone down the field. They are so fast. It's really hard to respond to that. Has the kicker on a lineman. Has 12 players, so we've got an unusually healthy team for Skaven here. Has his rerolls as Apothecary. Very excellently developed team. Probably just wants to see a little bit more development on some of the line rats down there. Maybe pick up a dirty player and a little bit deeper bench to foul the guys that Ritanoa Zoro is not able to just outright kill. But no, great looking team here. And he's obviously leading the league right now, so he has been putting these rats to excellent use. Now, next up, we've got the Rock'em Sock'ems by Dwigs. Let's take a look first at the club. He has a Squig Sandwich kiosk. This is the second one of these we've seen. So, canceling that throw a rock and get the rev. I think as a Dark Elf coach, you're happy to cancel both of those. You're not really wanting to foul with your 70k lineman, and throw a rock is... often I hear people say throw a rock's the worst thing in the game, and don't necessarily disagree, because just randomly losing a player can, if you lose one of those star players on the opening play of the game and they're just gone for the game, like, there's not a worse way to start out a match. So, taking a look here, it looks like, did we have an Agi busted blitz? Oh no, we had an Agi busted blitzer last game. So, that's going to be a tough one. With Mighty Blow, he probably sticks around as a blodging Mighty Blow tackle. This is his hitting piece, but that really hurts going down to Agi 3. Has picked up a movement blodge stepper, a guard blodge stepper, super jealous of the guard. Witch Elves picked up Wrestle. He's picked up a Mighty Blow Witch, which is also awesome. More doubles. I am not sure what has happened to this team. I would have to go back and look at some of the recent matches, because I know whenever I played him a few weeks back, there was so much more development, and I think I was actually the underdog in that matchup, and so it looks like we must have lost some elves here recently, is my only assumption. But these blitzers are looking good. Getting blodge on so many pieces. Really does need to get some development on the lineman. I think that's really important for the Dark Elf team, because oftentimes you're trying to screen with these linemen and you're being forced to make dodges without dodge, and while it's only a 2+, you're gonna fail some of those 2+s sometimes. It's a 1 in 6, and having that dodge on there allows you to do your elf screen without just taking random armor rolls. I know personally I've lost way too many line elves to just trying to screen and dodge away from players that got based the previous turn, and that just can be rough sometimes. So need a little bit more development here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're on 11 players once Vandal comes back. Maybe pick up a little bit of bench, but we can see 0 money here. That has to tell the tale of this team. It looks like he's just taken a beating and lost some players, so we're in a little bit of rebuild mode here, but still plenty of time to. We've got 5 games left this season to rebuild this and get him back up where he wants to be. Also, punk rock bands, pretty sweet. Gotta love the Ramones. Yeah, love the theme. Good looking. Was a good looking team. Will be a much better looking team shortly, I'm absolutely sure. Just once he's had some time to recover some money and recover some development. The Broken Boys, Shazelbob, 1860 Camry. Let's take a look at the stadium. We have a magic dome, getting rid of that weather because Kimry don't want to play in the rain. I feel him on that. It looks like we have a Tomb Guardian who's pending a level. Can only speculate on what that will be. So just going down the list, Tomb Guardians, we've picked up Mighty Blow, Mighty Blow, Mighty Blow Guard, and a block. The block is awesome for the Tomb Guardians. I'm assuming, following the trend here, he's probably going to pick up another Mighty Blow Tomb Guardian. I would really be tempted to pick up a second Guard. Guard is super important for this. Looking down, we've got a Strength Up Blitz Raw. That is super awesome for a Kimry team. They're really wanting to present that strength line out there with the 4 or 5 strength players. So adding a strength 4 player to the line is great. Also makes it easier to get your blitzing done with a relatively low amount of guard and without having to worry about trying to reposition that guard on a low agility team. The Frenzy Tackle piling on Mighty Blow. These Blitz Raws are both super scary. So one is just going to outstrength you, the other one is going to Frenzy on you and then pile on. So that is pretty sweet there. 3 team rerolls and 2 leaders. So we're currently rocking 5 rerolls. I'm wondering, does he only play throw raws one at a time? Maybe one's on offense, one's on defense? I'm not sure. I'm not sure why, because does the leader even stack? I'm not 100% sure. I've never looked in that. Let's see. Does it say one? No, it does not. A team with 1 or more leaders may take a single leader reroll counter. So it does not stack. But I guess this just ensures that you don't lose your leader if your leader is removed from play. Agi 3 throw raw is great. This guy has sure hands. Agi 3, he's going to pick up the ball much more often than the Agi 2 sure hands. Agi 2 sure hands 75%, and I think it's 80 something for Agi 3 sure hands. So looking good there. We've got a dirty player, we've got a wrestling skeleton, we've got a kicking skeleton. So he's able to place those deep kicks and plod down the field with this line of really scary strength pieces and blitz raws. Very healthy team, no permanent injuries anywhere. We've got a pretty good looking bench here with 14 players, so able to foul all the time. Has a lot of money in the bank, so not really anything to spend it on either. Yeah, just a wealth of cash and development on this team. So great looking team. I am curious to see what he does with the money management situation, because I don't think there's really anything he needs to do. May just be burning off a little extra cash just to prevent the inducements. Yeah, good looking team. And finally, we have Yup with this very small set of flings. He does have the Nuffle Altar, which lets him pick up some players, which he will be doing. We have a team value of 580. It's very, very, very impressive to me that Scambammer / Yup, whatever name you know him by, is going to stick with this team and rebuild and redevelop. From what I understand, he had a very awful set of dice happen to him where a tree was killed. He had a movement up tree that was killed, and he made the statement that you killed the wrong tree. The other tree is the one with the bounty on it. And the opposing player decided then to go over and kill the other tree as well. So lost both trees in one game. Dead, Apo into dead, followed by another dead. So what does this mean? This is actually... So it feels bad to lose the good movement up tree, and I don't remember what the other tree was, but he had a couple of great trees on this team. It feels bad to lose those, but 580 team value, every team this team goes up against in this league, he's getting 1 million golden inducements. That means Deep Root is immediately on the field. That means I think they can hire Bertha, or they can hire just a mercenary tree. Like, he's going to have his strength players back on the field. Just they'll be induced players rather than the natural trees that they normally have, and still going to have plenty of money to pick up that Halfling Master Chef and basically do whatever Halflings want to do. Just means he's going to get to play with Deeproot for the rest of the season, which isn't a terrible thing for Halflings. This double movement up fling, 7 movement on a fling, is awesome. Makes him a great one-turner, especially with Deeproot always on the field. We've got a strong arm tree now that does not take root, so he will always be able to throw this fling down the field. Flings can pull out some surprising victories, so I would not at all count Yip out from taking a few games throughout the rest of this season. Alright, so I believe that's it for the team review portion. Let's go back now and take a look at what has happened during week 8. So we had, and bear with me just a moment. So going down through the results of the last week's game, we had the Battle Brothers playing against the Night Haunt, and during that game, and I am going a little out of order here, I have some notes that I've taken elsewhere, so during that game it looks like we had some development. That was a 1-1 tie, so managed to take that one pretty evenly. We had no development on either side, and it looks like the Battle Brothers lost a... that's where they picked up the MNG, and they took a strength bust on a lineman and an agility. They took a strength... Lineman strength... Yeah, they took a strength bust on a lineman. That's too bad. Then we had the Pananimals versus the Gigolo House. Had a 3-1 result there. I was able to squeeze out a one-turner at the end. It was really a 2-1 grindy game, and was able to squeeze out a one-turner due to just some lucky dice at the end there. Development-wise, we had the thrower for Gigolo House pick up a level. And we had Silly Goose, a lineman, become a Blodge lineman, and Turtley Awesome picked up block. So a little bit of development there. We had Grin and Barrett, a lineman on my team, get movement busted and immediately fired, because I'm having too much trouble with that movement anyways. Then we had Hausdorff's Homewreckers and the Street Sharks played. It looks like the only casualty there was the negative agi on agility on the blocker that we saw, where that blocker is missing from the upcoming game. Development wise, it looks like the Homewreckers were this was a big game. The Homewreckers were able to take this game 1-0 versus the Street Sharks. The Street Sharks had been in first place the entire season. This allowed Rex to tie up the first place slot, as we saw on the leaderboard earlier. So this was a big game for the Homewreckers to take off of the Street Sharks. It really made this a much tighter contention for first and third. Development wise, Hobgoblin was able to pick up a level. Good stuff there. A blocker was able to pick up a level, and it looks like that was one of the Mighty Blow claws. He only had Garden Claw before, so it looks like he picked up Mighty Blow. We had a Bull Centaur who was able to pick up a level as well, and a Saurus was able to pick up a level for the Street Sharks, so good stuff there. Orgsploitation Cinema versus Count on Us. It looks like we had a 2-2 draw. During the course of this game, it looks like That's where we picked up only an MNG on Count on Us. No damage done to Worksploitation Cinema. And Jesse Run Through Ya, the blitzer for Worksploitation Cinema, was able to go from 50 to 55 points and pick up his level up. And then we had the Red Runt Rage versus the Broken Boys. Broken Boys were able to take this one 2-1. Looks like there was... this is where the Redbeard the Rascal picked up his second movement point. And on the Broken Boys, the Tomb Guardian was able to level as well, going from 14 to 16. And from a... This is what happened to Yup Yup's team here. So we have Red Meple Mayhem, who was a guard plus movement tree who died. And then we had a guard grab tree, Frank the Firebush, who is dead as well. And then we had just a whole slew of halflings. We had a rookie halfling that died, another halfling that got armor busted, another halfling that got strength busted, all of these rookies, and then his loner for the game got MNG'd, which is, yeah, it's a loner, no big deal. This is, and it looks like this is where that Tomb Guardian was able to get agility busted too, and I believe did not regen. Yeah, so yeah, we had 2 treemen and 3 halflings all go bye-bye, and all we were able to do was essentially miss next game a Tomb Guardian in response. So that was a very rough game for Yup Yup. Then we had the One Cheese versus Gotta Catch 'Em All, and I think the big thing here is so we had a 3-0 victory for the One Cheese, and no real permanent damage. He did have an unskilled lineman die, and he had a big hand thrower die. However, the core of the team, none of the gutter runners were lost. The important storm vermin wasn't lost. Interestingly, the Claw Mighty Blow storm vermin didn't do any damage to the Nurgle team either. But we were able to see quite a bit of development from the touchdowns he was able to run in. We had a gutter runner, or 2 gutter runners, and a storm vermin level up that game, so good development there. And finally, we had the Rock'em Sock'ems versus Oathblow that went to a 1-1 tie game. It looks like we had a blitzer get negative agility there. It's unfortunate for the Rock'em Sock'ems. We saw that earlier, but with a Mighty Blow tackle dodge, I think he'll stay around. Oathblow lost a lineman for a game. Not too big of a deal there, just an MNG. And Oathblow was able to get a Berserker and a lineman leveled up, so good development from that team. Looks like we had some good progression. Really, I think the 2 highlights from the previous week were the victory by One Cheese over Gotta Catch 'Em All. That was huge for making the division tight. And then, unfortunately, the other highlight was the utter destruction of Yup Yup's team. So, looking into next week, and we won't talk about any results, but I will go down and kind of give my thoughts and my predictions. First game, Red Runt Rage versus Orgsploitation Cinema. Yup Yup is going to have a ton of inducements for that matchup. So, we know that he has 580. Well, he'll have, let's see, what will his actual team value for the game be? Bear with me just a second. I can actually pull up the Rebel page and take a look at that. Thanks to Major Bytes, amazing work on the Rebel site. We can easily see a lot more data about these matchups and as we talk about them. So team value is 700, so he's getting 1,070,000 gold in inducements versus the Orcsploitation Cinema team. That does mean he's going to be able to pick up, like I said before, a couple of trees, the Halfling Master Chef. So I would not count the Halfling team out, because he's still going to be able to throw those flings, still be able to do the whole fling thing. So to say, and only one tackle piece on the Orc team. So if he can get rid of that tackle piece, he may be able to do a number on him. May be able to pull out an upset. That's the only scary piece, is that tackle piece. Everyone else, not as scary for the halflings who are dodging everything. And so I think that is his key to victory, is hopefully removing that tackle piece early. Then we have the Battle Brothers versus the Pananimals. This game coming up later today will probably be played by the time that this is posted. There is the Pananimals are giving up 300k to the Battle Brothers, so the Battle Brothers are going to have some inducements to come in with here. Looking at the team, I think the key here is going to be getting some good fouls in against those elves, and making sure they're not able to do the things the elves want to do. The elves have my team has a couple of good tackle pieces, and I am significantly faster than this team in general, so I will be looking to just do elf BS and run around and do that kind of thing. So if he's able to pin down some key players, foul them out, get rid of that Agi 5, that's what he'll be looking to do. Put these the star players of this team will be these linemen, fouling out key elves. Let's go back over to the schedule. Then we've got Hausdorff's Homewreckers versus the One Cheese. Huge game here. So Hausdorff's Homewreckers last week took down the Street Sharks, made this division close. This is going to be the shot that the Homewreckers get at the other first place team, the One Cheese now. A victory here for the Homewreckers is huge, and really for the division competition, even if he doesn't get a victory, if all of those Mighty Blow tackle dwarves go to work and do a number on this Skaven team, that can really this is a scary game for the One Cheese. So the One Cheese is going to want to avoid taking damage and take this victory. The Homewreckers, if they can do any damage, it's gonna hurt the One Cheese, and if they're able to take that victory like they were able to take against Shadora, that is going to push the One Cheese down into that third place race with myself and Steak Mittens, and put Shadora back on top. So Shadora is definitely cheering for Hausdorff for this game. And then we have the Street Sharks versus the Rock'em Sock'ems. Rock'em Sock'ems have an excellent elf team. They can definitely out elf the Street Sharks here. They have 400k in inducements coming their way, so they will be able to do potentially. They could look at. I'm not the biggest fan of the Halfling Master Chef, but I would maybe think about it in this game. Probably would decide against it and go with a more traditional, like, wizard something package. I'm not sure what the cost of maybe like a Roxana is. Really up that surfing threat. See if we can get into a surf war with the Street Sharks and just push those lizards off the field and then do your elf stuff. This is a big game. The Rock'em Sock'ems can really play spoiler on the Street Sharks and make this a super tight race, because with first place only having a 1-game lead over the tied third place, Steak Mittens and I are chomping at the bit to just keep the pressure on for that division title. We've got a tight division race forming up here, and it will really develop over the next couple of weeks. Night Haunt versus the Broken Boys is the next matchup. We'll not talk about the results of that, but looking at the match, it looks like we had... Not able to get into the details for some reason. Night Haunt versus looks like we had a... Yeah, this was a pretty even match. Not a lot of inducements given up. Pretty evenly balanced teams. So, solid match there. Count on Us versus Oathblow. Looks like we have another situation where we have very even team values. Count on Us is giving up 50k to Oathblow, so Oathblow will be able to pick up that babe, and that's about it. And actually, Count on Us has some extra cash on hand, so if they burn that extra cash on hand, hire an extra thrall or two, this is a dead even... Well, no, they'll still, even if they do that, yeah, they'll still give up the 50k. So, it's a very tight match. Oathblow will get that. And, that is what we've got going on there. That'll be an interesting match to see the results of. Very tight match. And finally, we've got Gigolo House versus Gotta Catch 'Em All. Team value-wise, very even teams. Steak Mittens in third place, really wanting to stay firm in that third place, so really looking to win this one. Gigolo House looking to develop and continue with those War Dancers. It's very hard to predict these kinds of games because I think Steak Mittens will be looking to remove some elves and not allow the elves to do their thing, spreading that disturbing presence, not let them make any passing plays. But elves can do elf things if they're able to just run around and stay away from any long-term damage. They could take this game, and it's going to be an interesting game to see. So that is all the games for the upcoming week. I think I've spent plenty of time here just talking in general, so I want to thank everyone for listening. I apologize if I rambled a little bit. I am jumping into this role to fill in a couple of notes that I took here. No one is mathematically eliminated in Division 8 yet, so theoretically, anyone in the league could go on a run, win out their last 5 games, and take that playoff spot. Also, plenty of development to happen for next season, so we're for the most part, the only team that is really looking crippled is poor Yup Yup there, who lost all of his trees and all of his bench in one catastrophe of a game. But I think it'll be interesting to see in the next few weeks how this develops, how this very tight race in the top of the division falls out at any given point. A couple of key wins, a couple of key losses, and it's really still anyone's division. So again, I want to thank everyone for watching. Please give me any kind of feedback on how this was ran, anything I can do to make this recap better. This is my first time putting together this kind of thing, so any constructive feedback is very welcome. And also, I've spent this I'm not sure how long I've been recording for now, but I've spent this entire time talking by myself, so if anyone would like to come on and talk with me and make this a little bit easier to get through, please shoot me a message on Discord. I will be happy to have a guest on here, and we can co-host, we can talk, we can go over the division, get another perspective on things. It would be greatly appreciated. So thanks everyone, have a good one.